Welcome everyone to Awesome Truth, a wrestling book club. I'm your host, Steve Semino, and with me as always is my co-host, Walt Schwenk. Hey, Walters.
Hello, Steven. How's it going?
My friend, it is going very well. We are back on Awesome Truth, and we are doing another watch-along, Walt. We're actually still in the build. We're on the road to WrestleMania, quite literally. We're doing all Mania-themed stuff, mostly meaning we're talking about the people in the big matches and the people we want to talk about who exist in the Mania world, building to this year's WrestleMania, and is sort of building off the last episode we had where we talked about Cody Rhodes. We're doing Cody Rhodes' biggest WWE match to date beyond his WrestleMania match with Roman Reigns. And of course, Walt, that is the Hell in a Cell with Seth. I will not use the middle name they give him, Rollins, at Hell in a Cell 2022.
Yeah, this is one that I've never seen this.
I've never seen it either. I don't know. I guess I sort of knew that, but that's great. This is new to both of us.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously we know what happens, so it's just like, it's going to be the shock of like seeing what unfolded that I heard a lot about, but then also like figuring out how they let the finish happen the way it did. I'm still curious if it was convincing or not, and how that unfolds. So I'm excited.
I'm curious to see if it's because I believe it's a 5-star match. Most people's eyes. I'm curious if that's just the shock of seeing it live, or if a few years later we can look back and say, oh, like if it's still a good match, or if it was a good match because you knew what Cody was going through and therefore it was crazy.
Right. Yeah. Just the shock factor of someone doing this.
Yes. So let's get started. It's on. If you have Peacock, of course, it is streaming. If you go to Hell in a Cell, it's the most recent Hell in a Cell. And Walt, what is the time code for this one?
2 hours, 24 minutes on the dot.
There we go. So go to 2 hours, go to 24 minutes, and we will hit play in 3, 2, 1. Wrestling. Okay, you should hear Seth Rollins' bad theme right now.
Yeah, the audio cue of "Burn It Down" would be your mark.
I'm sure I've said it on this show, but the "Burn It Down" cue is just like the most like focus group bullshit. Seth Rollins, I think one of my least favorite wrestlers in the context of his current fame and status. It's obviously a very good objective wrestler, a very big star for the company today, but just not. Oh, I do like this polka dots thing though. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He's just when he leans into this, when he's being a pissy baby on purpose, I really enjoy it. That's one, because I do think that seems like a little bit more of his, if not his personality in real life, then his strength as a wrestler is to be that sort of whiny heel.
Although I don't know how he could have this much pizzazz and moxie at this point. He's 0-2 against Cody at this juncture.
Is it really? So they had the match at Cody's return at Mania in 2022. And do they have another match in between this?
At Backlash.
Wow.
And he loses that one clean.
So Seth is they did. I did not realize this was. So they didn't even do 1-1, like how these feuds almost always go.
Yeah, this is 0-2 heading into the Hell in a Cell. So
wow, what's the angle there? Yeah, like Seth, like he should not be partying and celebrating then, right? He should be like pissed and trying to win.
Yeah, I didn't watch the video package recap, but maybe there was some new ripple in this storyline. It doesn't seem. It's like, oh, let's just do Hell in a Cell.
I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that the audience watching they built into the show the idea that Cody tore his pec. Right at this point, that's part of the story.
I think it happened over the weekend.
But I think like I think it can't. I'm. Because I know when he takes his, as we saw in the Cody documentary available on our archives, awesometruth.libsyn.com, you can see like when he takes his jacket off, it's like very theatrical, Like I feel like everyone's waiting to see what the pec looks like, which tells me that they must have known the pec was coming, at least like the viewing audience and the social media people and that kind of thing.
Maybe you're right.
I don't know. Let's see if Michael Cole makes that clearer to us. We didn't do our research in that regard, and I'm not going to do it right now in a rush. So,
right,
we're going to watch Cody
live.
We're gonna. Have we talked about Cody's theme and how great it is that it came over? I'm sure we have, right?
Maybe.
We can talk again, right?
Isn't it just say it as if I haven't heard it before.
I just love that. It's a very nerdy thing, but I suspect you probably agree. It's so great that they bought the rights to this song by what shitty band does this? It's they do a lot of wrestling themes. I forget.
It's Downstate.
And I believe it's Downstate. Yes, it's Downstate.
Don't take that. Yeah, I mean I'm just guessing because
no, it is because they did Ziggler, they did Miz, right? They do a lot of wrestling themes.
Yeah, that's definitely Downstate.
And I read recently in doing my research on it, because I did do the research on that, it was like a last-second negotiation. Like when they were bringing him in for Mania, I think that weekend they were closing the deal with Downstate, like to use Kingdom. Because I guess they had deals with AEW, and Cody brought it with him for the last, 5 years or so at least. Like it's been his theme. And
you think WWE would have like an inside track to Downstate? They've literally given them royalties in business for years.
I think Vince, I imagine Vince was also weird about it because he was still in charge at that point. I'm sure he did not really want to bring over anything from, the other companies. It's just, that's really not his thing.
Right.
Unless he owns them outright, and he doesn't own any of them. So
yeah,
I imagine he's being Vincey and weird about it. Would be my guess. And then I imagine Cody, I think Cody did literally put his foot down and said, like, I'm not coming unless I get my theme. And they said, all right, well, obviously we're not going to blow up the deal over your theme. So
sticking point of the theme is a first.
It's great. It's great wrestling butt rock, like it's very stupid, but it's sort of catchy. It's got it's, and it definitely stands out from a lot of the other, in an era of very bad themes, which I would say the last few years are very much that. It stands out as like, okay, this is not really good, but it is catchy and interesting, as opposed to the filler they tend to churn out in WWE these days.
It's a theme though that also works across venues and organizations, because this worked in Tokyo Dome as it does in where is this? I should probably know where this event.
This is in. Oh, he's about to show the pack. See, look, he's doing it. This is definitely a thing.
Oh, Chicago. This is Chicago. Sorry.
Okay.
I knew that.
There you go.
Because Mustafa Ali got a title shot, and of course loses. God forbid the hometown hero wins.
Yeah, to Austin Theory too. Like, yeah, can't beat Austin Theory.
Well, just Theory, I believe.
Oh,
right?
just Theory. You're right. Yes, that's further proof that this was the Vince era, as they're lopping off first names still for some reason.
Yeah, for no reason whatsoever.
Here we go. Cody's he's doing he's going real slow. As we know from the Cody documentary that again we just did, which is a really good part. Cody says at the end, I kept telling people I felt okay. I was totally lying. This is the most pain I've ever been in my entire life. Like I hated every second of this, and it hurt so badly. So, in that context, it's wild to see him, doing his whole shtick and just looking very normal, minus. Oh Jesus, that looks so bad.
Oh. Looks like he has like jam all over.
Yeah, there's the Seth laughing there is really good. That's great. It's one of those things I've never seen a torn pec, and you may have as a weightlifting man.
Can't say I have.
Okay, and certainly not. I imagine not. I was gonna say I hope probably not one this bad, but it's like one of those. If they did makeup of that, it would look like it. You can't replicate that, because it looks so unnatural because it's so real, I'm like, oh, that's what that looks like. I wouldn't even know. Like I would think that was garish and silly if you did that if that was fake.
Right. Yeah. It does. Yeah.
Like, wow, landed on pretty thick, huh? Like, oh, your whole chest exploded, and then you see it in real life. You go, oh, Jesus, your whole chest really did explode, and it looks the part.
I mean, like, regular bruises don't look anything like this.
Ugh, man.
It's like purple, red, black at parts.
And he's gonna have a 24-minute match now in a really shitty cage with no give. So,
right. Also, I have to say the shout out to the costume designer. Making him look like Homelander is a really nice touch.
Is that what he's going for?
It has to be.
Homelander's a psychopath, though. Does Cody want to be dressed up like a psychopath?
Didn't he start that in AEW where he kind of started dressing Homelander?
I think you're right.
Tweener.
I think that, and I assume they just kept it going since then. Oh. Damn.
Oh my God.
That's hurt. You're right. I think you're right. It was in AEW that I remember that being a genuine thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good look. It's striking,
Yeah. It's a nice way to do the red, white, and blue too.
So, Walt, let's talk about Hell in a Cell. What are your thoughts on Hell in a Cell in 2024, where it's been, there've been, couldn't even tell you how many of these matches there have been over the years. 40 probably.
Oh God, I hope not.
I mean, but it was a pay-per-view. Let's see if I can figure out real quick how many Hell in a Cell pay-per-views there are. And there's been women's and men's ones for the last couple of years. It was the 14th annual Hell in a Cell. And so you can imagine there's been at least 20 something at pay-per-views with the name. So maybe let's say there's been like 25 or 30. But still, a lot of
pay-per-views.
Yeah, well, 14 Hell in a Cell pay-per-views. But I'd say there's been 20 to 25 of these matches, right?
Oh, no, I think more.
You think more? Do you think there was like 40 then? Is 40?
In 1998, there was not since
there
the
were
90s,
a couple.
it's been like a dozen.
Well, I mean, my point being, this is a heavily exposed type of a match at this point. So, right. What are your thoughts on it in this day and age? Do you still enjoy it? Does it matter at all anymore?
I don't know if it's a popular or unpopular opinion. Like, the format of the Elimination Chamber is more interesting to me at this point. Like, or even just like regular cage matches. Like when the Young Bucks fought the Lucha Brothers in the cage. It was like, that was a great match. No matter, like, that would have been a great match anywhere. But like, I'm just like, what's wrong with just a regular ass cage match? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just don't understand what the point of it is anymore, because especially they're not sending people to the top of this thing anymore.
No, I couldn't even. I'm looking actually. So there have been 52 of these matches in history. So that's way. 40 sounded high to me originally, and that's 12 under. And there's just not like you said, they're not the initial thing. The first, Shawn Michaels took a remarkable bump at the first ever one. Mick Foley took one of the most famous bumps in history at the third one. And and since then, every time they do something like that, it's silly. Shane McMahon took I think Shane was probably the last like legit, from the top of the cage bump, right?
I guess so, yeah.
I don't see any unless I don't remember Jey Uso taking one. I don't remember Ray taking there's not a lot of people in these matches that you'd even want taking those bumps. Like Shane is one of the few psychopaths who would want to do that. So. And it's unsafe, and they don't want to hurt their guys anymore, and for a million reasons. But yeah, but if that's the case, if the top of the cage is sort of null and void now, then what's the difference between anything? Like, there's just more of an outside area. Like, great. Yeah. Why does that really matter?
So they're kept inside of a cage, but like most wrestling matches stay within the limitations of the ringside. Yeah. So you're not really stopping them from doing what they normally do.
And it seems like the conceit at this point should probably be like you would want to face Roman Reigns in Hell in a Cell because it'd be harder for like the bloodline to get in, like that would be logical, right?
But that's what a cage match is. That's a cage match.
That's true. Yeah, there's no reason not to do a cage. You're right. It doesn't have, I guess, but in theory, you could climb over the cage easier than you could climb into or get into Hell in a Cell.
So, except that we have 52 examples of people easily getting in.
Yes, or getting out or doing any number of things.
Yeah. So, fair on paper, but
yeah, it was a really good idea, I think, to get rid of this pay-per-view at the very least, because I think it's just, if you look at the last couple of them, there was Bobby Lashley defeated Drew McIntyre. Okay, like, great. It was
cool.
Randy Orton defeated Drew McIntyre. Roman Reigns beat Jey Uso. Like, there was 3 Hell in a Cell matches at the 2020 Hell in a Cell. I know that was COVID era, but still, like, that's so many Hell in a Cells. Like, how can you even sit through 3 of them and be like, this is interesting and unique, Like, it's the same thing over and over. And then, of course, they brought it back at last year's WrestleMania, where Edge beat Finn Balor in a match that no one expected Edge to win. Didn't really do anything for anybody, but that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Elimination Chamber is a more interesting thing because not only is it a format that is like and they usually attach some major stakes to it. Like, it also is a fundamental different layout of the ring with the pods, and people can get thrown through them, and then you could go on top of the pods. Like, there's a different dynamic with the structure. Like, this isn't really dynamic. It is for the wrong reasons historically, and then it's like, Now they don't even do that. So yeah, to me, it just kind of defeats all the purposes. But it's red
Yeah,
now.
it is
Not
red.
now. That was just 2 years ago.
It's red, and I mean, I think that most people would agree that this match jumped the shark at the Seth Bray Wyatt match, right? That was, I think that was the silliest one of all, right?
Yeah, you can't even say that there's no DQ because they ended that in a no decision.
Was that match ended because Seth was beating up Bray too much?
Yeah, well, the ref was like, "Don't you do it? Don't you do it?" And he
because he was like trying to kill him, right? Like he was like,
yeah.
But the whole point of Bray's character at that point was that he was supernatural, right? So like he couldn't be killed, but then he also was participating in wrestling matches, which doesn't really make sense because why would a supernatural being want to win titles and be in matches? Like,
yeah, right. What's the motivation there?
Yeah, it was a really okay. See, this is I will say about this, Seth. Like, I guess this is very good work from Seth, but this would not be this good if Cody wasn't weakened by the pec. If they were I'm sure they recalled the match accordingly. I'm sure they changed the strategy and the idea and what was going to happen. But it is just, I think this injury, as unfortunate as it was for Cody, really plays into Seth's strengths because now he gets to take advantage as like a good heel would love to do.
Right, it raises the stakes for Cody. The problem, I mean, I don't know if I want to get to the end that we all know we're getting to, but like knowing what I know, it's like none of this really helps Seth. Like this guy, after 3 matches, couldn't beat this guy given all the setbacks. It's like how did that? And then Cody goes away for 8 months. It's like
was there like a Seth is a loser story after this?
No,
there wasn't. He just went on to doing other stuff.
He quote unquote takes out Cody in the next night, I believe, and then Cody disappears till Rumble, and then Seth just like moves on to the next thing.
And just does some more stuff for a while.
Yeah, he's dastardly still because he took Cody out, but he couldn't beat him in a wrestling match. But he didn't even take Cody out
because we all know Cody was hurt when he was in this match in the first place. So.
Well, right, yeah, exactly. So it's just kind of just really like. I would have I understand that it's like a clean sweep was probably in the cards because you wanted to build Cody and make him so big, and that Seth was the sacrificial lamb for that. And I understand that strategy, but like at this point, pivot. Yeah. You have to pivot because now Seth's going to be there tomorrow and Cody's not, and now your biggest star just went 0-3 against like a guy who's not around. Like that does not help anybody.
And no one's going to blame Cody for losing,
Exactly. If anything, it makes him look better in a loss.
Yeah.
Versus like Lol Cena wins kind of mentality.
Yeah. Seth can win and he can run to the back and jump around like he's like, just won the belt. But the commentator's going to say, well, Cody Rhodes is the real, Seth Rollins may have got the 1, 2, 3, but Cody Rhodes, won the fans' hearts 10 times over. And then Cody gets the cheers on the way out anyway, Yeah,
but also you get a built-in rematch after 3 matches because when he comes back, there's this claim of you beat me, but it wasn't.
Look at that! Holy, how does he even? Jesus, this is crazy. Just imagining the strength to like, even if Seth's helping, you didn't do it, but still, just holding him up at all there was crazy.
Yeah. No, this is.
Yeah. Not that I doubted you, but I went back to check your work, and you're 100% right. He beat him by pinfall at Backlash in 20 minutes.
Wow.
That is just wow. Why?
I think it was like a roll up though.
It was a roll up, and but that's a 1, 2, 3. That's fine.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's not like it was cheat to win.
There's no the Wikipedia recap mentions no cheating whatsoever besides Seth holding his tights, which hoisted him anyway because then Cody rolled him over and pinned him anyway.
Right.
Wow. Weird. I mean, it's Triple H is not the infallible, like he's not perfect in his booking or anything like that. But this reeks of old man Vince shit, you know, like just stuff that doesn't make any actual, like, you have to. H is really good at telling a very logical story, you know, like, okay, the only thing he did that was sort of out of nowhere was Cody losing last year.
Right, but
otherwise,
now
everything H does makes a lot of sense. You're like, that's exactly what should have happened, you know, like that's how the story's supposed to go.
Now it's shaping up where it makes perfect sense because it's an even bigger moment in a bigger place.
Should we talk about the fact, like, I don't want to get off Cody too much, but I mean, it's whatever. We'll talk when this match is cool.
Yeah,
but
he's pulling out a bullhorn, whatever.
Yes, it's great. I mean, it's fun.
Bullhorn.
Fans seem really into it, so that's cool. I want to say I've texted you about this recently. I haven't done it yet, but I'm very tempted to start watching SmackDown. Like I'm this close to watching SmackDown because what Rock is doing just sounds.
Right? This is on a recorded line.
I'm saying it in public. Basically, this goes out in a couple days. What they're doing with Rock seems so good that I'm just like, I want to see this live. Like, I want to see Rock do his thing. I love it.
Well, I mean, like, to your point in previous episodes and or previous text messages, I guess it's like this isn't just like a I'm back, yay me, kind of like circle the wagon kind of deal. It's like we're coming up with new shit, as if he's engaged.
Yeah, and he's bowing down to Roman, which is great. Like, they're not even doing it. It seems like there's a little bit of like a very light tension, but from everything I can grasp, like it's mostly Roman's the chief and Rock is supporting his family member, and like they're gonna build the tension later. You know, like there's clearly gonna be a bunch of stuff that goes down at Mania. But that's perfect. Like, that's what should happen. Like, it's and then because now when Roman faces Rock, it's gonna be great because there's actually gonna be a reason for it to happen. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
now I'm excited to watch Roman and Rock, even though it'll be a terrible match. But I'm like, okay, you're laying the groundwork, which makes me excited to watch the payoff.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. They're actually telling the story. They're not just expecting us to like eat it.
Yeah. Just because Rock is cool and Roman is champ, like that's not why.
Right.
You could do a match with that logic. They've done it a million times before, but it doesn't get me excited. I might watch it if it's on and I'm around.
So based on all this, do you think that we're now going back to the original plan after all?
I imagine Cody's just gonna win, right?
I mean, yeah, that's what I thought.
And they're gonna. But I'm intrigued though. I'm intrigued to see what happens on night one, because now they have a stipulation in the tag match where if Cody wins, there's no bloodline. Cody and Seth win, and if Roman wins, it's bloodline only. So and I could see them go. I mean, I imagine Roman and Rock will win, right? Just because it's another obstacle for Cody to overcome.
Yeah.
But
that would make sense.
I wouldn't bet every dollar I have on that. Like I still could see it. I could also see it being something where Rock and Roman have sort of a issue, and then all of a sudden Roman looks a little bit weak going into then I guess Roman and Rock neither one of those guys can take a pin, right? So they sort of have to win.
I don't know.
There's no way Roman.
I think that's kind of they've kind of accidentally stumbled onto an interesting dynamic that previously would not have been like conceivable.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the only thing that makes sense, thinking about it now out loud, talking it out, is Seth almost has to take the pin, right? None of the other three guys really should, in any world, lose that match or be counted 1, 2, 3. But but also you need to build Rock, Roman. So I guess Rock could in theory take Roman almost. I guess there's a world where Roman takes the pin, and you're like, well, he didn't lose a title match, but he did. This is the first time he's been pinned in 3 years or whatever. So I guess
he got pinned in the other tag match, I thought.
Oh, did he really? Okay.
I believe so.
Okay, so they've done. So there is precedent even then. So maybe he could. Then maybe he does take maybe it's possible at least that he takes the loss.
Yeah, now I have to look this up. I think he took the pin from Jay, which is why they did Jay Roman again.
Yeah, that does make sense. That sounds right. And everyone was, and it's a good idea, having him lose a tag match. He shouldn't be. He takes a lot of pins when the referee has been bumped. So it's not like is just steamrolling people like Goldberg or something.
Yeah. God.
Nope. I don't think this one's over yet, folks. Yeah, you're very right. They've, not totally inadvertently. I think they have obviously a very strong game plan now, but just the way this plays out, like even when even smart fans like can't even fully predict what's going to happen with any sort of certainty, that's very exciting. You're like, wow, this could go it's probably going to go one way, but I want to see whether that's the case, because I want to see they could do a very minor swerve into a couple directions, and it'll be intriguing if they did.
I mean, and none of this happens if Rock doesn't play ball. You know what I mean? Like, The Rock could have just been like, no, I'm me versus Roman, and the fans just have to eat it, and I don't care. I have my ego, and
I just want to get back on top. I want to be in the main event of WrestleMania. Yeah. I want to build my brand, all that stuff.
Yeah. So, we talked about The Rock recently in another podcast, which we haven't even talked about yet. But, just he truly is a pro wrestler. Like, he's a movie star, a mega star, whatever you want to call him, but like, he's, at the end of the day, this guy's a pro wrestler, and you're kind of seeing that in this all unfold here. Like, he understands what it takes to make this good.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, as you noted, we'll do a full plug at the end, but Walt and I guested on another show recently. And we'll like I said, we'll tell everyone about that when we're done. But one of the things that the host of that show brought up was how good Rock used to be at taking losses himself, and playing ball and understanding, how things are supposed to go and the ebbs and flows of a story. And like that's what, like you said, that's what he's doing again. Like, he's not that he's taking losses yet, but he's making Seth and Cody look interesting and important, probably more important they've ever looked before. And he's ultimately going to, come out probably looking like a little bit of a chump after WrestleMania as the bad guy, and then he's going to get his redemption moment later. And like, that's great. Like, that's just trusting in a little bit of long-term storytelling, and understanding that in wrestling, if you give a little, you almost always get a little down the line.
Yeah. Another thought too is like, watching, just connecting it back to the match that we're supposed to be talking about. But like, if Seth just turns on Cody during that tag match, also wouldn't be like the craziest thing because of this history that they built. And it's like, Seth is talking about it, get rid of the bloodline. It's like, but it's kind of irrelevant to him. Whereas like, I don't think it wouldn't be inconceivable for him to be like, no, actually, Cody, I'm against you. You're a bigger threat to me, because
they have issues mid-match, because they're not a tag team, and
right.
They're just not a cohesive unit. So what if they, bump into each other and tussle? That seems very possible.
It'd be smart for them to kind of seed discontent, win or lose, between them, like, just to set up future, just to set up this history they have.
Yeah, that's good, because it's going to be one of Cody's, big matches down the line. Whenever he'll win the belt eventually, he'll probably win it at Mania, but he'll certainly win it someday. And certainly Seth will be one of his top foes, so it makes a lot of sense to build towards that.
Yeah, I mean, Seth ain't going anywhere. He's not going to Hollywood anytime soon. Did
you see he got cut out of the Marvel movie too?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so he's definitely not going to WrestleMania or to Hollywood anytime soon.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry, Seth.
Which one
for joining the MCU in 2024 is they are pivoting wildly and terrified, and they'll reshoot entire movies.
Which movie was he in? The Thunderbolts?
He was in the Captain America.
Right.
What's it called? The Anthony Mackie Captain America. Which is already a dubious proposition on itself, because it's like, hey kids, you love Chris Evans. How about another guy who you don't really probably like very much, who you like fine, who you're like, okay, he's a good 12th character. Now he's the lead in a movie, and like, that's, we'll see. It could be good, but it certainly has an uphill battle.
Yeah.
So, well, maybe it's Seth, and Seth probably was going to show up as some just like guy in,
SWAT gear.
Yeah, SWAT gear, exactly. He's gonna be,
possibly. I don't know.
We've seen him in SWAT. He can pull off the SWAT gear, but I don't know if he was going to be very memorable in that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know what's the bigger blow: him getting cut out of MCU royalty checks, or MJF getting cut out of the A24 wrestling biopic.
That's true. We didn't mention this, but Cody did a pedigree very recently.
Yes. Which is, and he's holding a sledgehammer, which is hilarious.
He's doing it for his buddy H.
Yeah. Were they always cool? They were always cool, right?
We talked about it a little bit in the last episode, and like, I didn't think they seemed overly cool back in the day, but I don't think I think Cody at that point did not seem really cool with anyone, in his initial run. I get the impression that now, the stomp. Thank God they brought the stomp back. I'm sure we've said this before, but thank God they brought that back too. Like,
oh my God, yeah, what a mistake!
You just call it the stomp. You don't need the curb part. You don't need the very violent part. It's just a good move.
Yeah, it's so much better than I guess his move was the pedigree, right?
Yeah, and then I don't remember what it was before that. What was his move when he was in a tag with the Shield? Did he have a move, or
it was a stomp?
Was the stomp then too?
Yeah.
That's correct. Okay, yeah. So then spin is it was just silly to try and get rid of it.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, but I think now they seem very cool, H and Cody, so.
Yeah. Well, this is awesome according to the fans. It's been a pretty good match.
It's good. Like you said, it does not need to be in Hell in a Cell though. That's my biggest takeaway so far. Is why couldn't this just be a no DQ match? Why couldn't there just be any other stipulation that doesn't involve the cell? The cell just doesn't do anything. Oh, yeah. Is this it?
They had a lot of bells and whistles in this that I think they really didn't need.
Yes. What was that? That was weird. Did he not get him in it because it was his move? Is that the idea? Like he rolled through it?
I don't know.
Yeah, I hope this got someone. Obviously, like we said, they did Hell in a Cell at Mania after this, which is fine, I guess. Like if they deploy it that Finn Edge match was not very good in my memory, but if they deploy it every 5 years or so at like Mania or SummerSlam, that's whatever. That's fine. Maybe then they'll have a reason to do it. Maybe it'll somehow make sense in those contexts. But as a yearly thing that has to happen twice in a month, like I just don't. I'm so happy that's not part of the equation anymore.
Yeah, no. I mean, not that they replaced with anything better necessarily, but but yeah, I mean, don't just have it for the sake of having it. Like I understand doing War Games once a year at the same time because that you can build a whole year to. Here we go. This seems like we're.
He's doing the turbo. He's doing the turbo crossroads. That's great. He's gonna make him suffer. I feel like I've seen this before.
Okay.
But maybe I watched the last 5 minutes of the match once upon a time. But yeah, War Games is great because War Games, then you're forced to do a team dynamic. Oh, you're forced to make a one-on-one feud into a blood feud really quick for a payoff. I imagine this is it.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes Cody. He was really mad at Seth, and he did a lot of stuff to beat him. So I guess that's fair. I don't know why he couldn't have done most of. Like we said, I don't know why he couldn't have done most of this match. He could have just lost at the end inadvertently, or this Peck gives out as he's going for Crossroads, and then it would have been the same outcome ultimately. So.
I don't know. He should have lost this match.
Yes, he should have. I don't we'd be in the exact same spot we are right now if he had lost the match in a good, smart way.
Yeah.
Not like everyone goes, "Oh man, remember when he beat Seth 3 times in a row?" Like everyone says, "Remember when he wrestled at Hell in a Cell with a torn pec?" The outcome of it is pretty irrelevant.
Right. I think most people forget that he won. You had forgotten that he won the match a few weeks ago.
Yes. I think that's very true. They'd say, well, surely he just lost. Why even remember that?
But, I mean, this is the nitpicky wrestling fan in me. Just I should probably forget at this point who won this match because at this point it doesn't even matter.
Also, for all my shit I gave Seth, he's one of the 2 biggest stars, probably full-time stars, but pre-Cody at least. And he took 3 straight L's to Cody. He probably didn't have to do that. He probably could have been a pissy baby about that and said, "Can I have 1?" And he took 3. And he came out and did his whole shtick tonight and on the show and was and looked great. So that's something that I can't get mad at somebody who even if he shouldn't take L's, he clearly does it for the company and goes out there and tries hard no matter what. So
he's definitely a company guy.
He is. He seems very loyal and he seems very down for whatever. Yeah. And so not always my favorite, but he was great. Yes. He was exactly what he needed to be in this match. He's a huge part of why this was a good match. So
Yeah.
I would give this 4 stars, I would say. I would say it was maybe 4.5. I'd say because I'd be like, okay, like a very iconic and well done match given the context. But I don't know if I would say one of the best WWE matches of the last couple of years.
Yeah, but again, to your point, like the fact that it's a Hell in a Cell is kind of circumstantial, and in no way made it 4 stars. 3 took it from a 3 to a 4. So that's kind of like the criticism of Hell in a Cell at this point in 2024. It's like if it's not going to +1 the match in the series or the anything, why are we doing it?
Yes, great question. Very, very good question, which we don't have an answer to. But it's going, like we said, no more Hell in a Cell at this moment. So that's very, very good. And it's a fun match, and it's a great way to keep building towards Mania 40, Walt. So this is our second to last podcast before WrestleMania. So there's got to be one more in between. Well, we got to think of something to do that's WrestleMania themed before we get to WrestleMania. But it's been fun watching Cody. Like, this has been a really great run. Like, for all the time they spent building, Bryan into a babyface and some of the other things. Like this is a very organic, like I said last time, a very organic but also a very well planned out babyface run for Cody Rhodes here. Like he's, the high notes are very high, and they make him look like $1 million pretty frequently. So
yeah,
it's good. I like it.
Hopefully he'll be champion one day, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna. Should we just come back and do a Mania recap episode? I feel like we might as well at this point.
I'd be down.
Yeah, let's say we'll talk about that off mic. Yeah. But we hope you enjoyed this match and our watch along on the build to Mania. If you want to listen to the other episodes we talked about on this, including other ones about Cody Rhodes, you can find our archives at awesometruth.libsyn.com for episodes old and new. You subscribe to us everywhere podcasts are delivered: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those good places. We are there. Walt, great to talk Cody with you again. I think we can move off Cody for next episode and focus on another of the big stars that are going to be at Mania, and then we can watch a Mania that is getting surprisingly exciting and something that I genuinely am pumped to see. And
then we can talk about Cody again. Yeah.
Then we can talk about Cody again. Yeah. Yes. And then we go back to Cody one more time. I
was going to say, also, if you want to find more Awesome Truth content, you should look elsewhere on the internet to Let Me Tell You Something podcast.
Yep.
I have to figure out exactly when the air date is, but
yes, it might not be out yet, but you subscribe to their show. They're also available, I believe, everywhere podcasts are, and we're going to be on it talking about another WrestleMania from a long time ago.
Yeah, WrestleMania 17 with The Rock versus Austin. So more Rock content, more Cody content. I'm sensing a pattern with our conversations, but it was fun to do it. And Lorcan and Simon, friends of the show now, friends of the life,
We'll have to have them on at some point and do one of these as well. But yeah, Let Me Tell You Something, ! Is the name of the show. And that's the show we're going to be on. So subscribe right now and you'll catch us in the very near future. They just did an episode about Mark Marrow and Sable versus Goldust and Luna. So if you want to listen to a conversation on that match,
what's the next one they got?
I'm just kidding. So that's out there. That's something you can enjoy if you want to listen to Let Me Tell You Something. And we'll be on it soon enough. So go check that out.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for listening. And remember, the truth will set you free.